Well, you've got a powerful voice as a political icon, an independent, a former governor. What would you say to the American people if we see some terror attacks, they're blamed on the American people, and they start trying to use these different enemy combatant acts, belligerent acts, to start grabbing U.S. citizens?
Well, I think the first thing we need to do is this. I think we need to put huge pressure on the Obama administration to rescind the Patriot Act.
Yes.
I think that would be the great starting point for people to start marching and demanding that the Patriot Act be abolished. Because the Patriot Act is the thing that's taking away our freedoms. It's taking away habeas corpus, where they can arrest you, simply say you committed a terrorist act. You can't get a lawyer. They can hold you without a trial. And people in this country better wake up, because what they're doing to them guys at Guantanamo, down at Gitmo, they could do to you.
Well, that's what the belligerent act states that John McCain's introduced and Lindsey Graham's supporting. It says for any intelligence reason or any direction of the president, citizens can be grabbed and given enhanced interrogation and never be seen again. I'm not kidding. I even had Judge Napolitano.
McCain?
Absolutely.
John McCain is supporting something like that?
Guys, print the belligerent act. I want to read Governor Ventura the actual passage. Yes, sir, and I had Judge Napolitano on, who's a former federal judge.
Sure.
And he pointed out, it says that the fact that you've been grabbed is a secret unless the House and Senate Intelligence Committee vote to allow it to be known you've even been grabbed.
Really? Well, then let me say this on your show, Alex. I will never disappear by my own choice.
Good point.
So I've said it now on your show, so everybody knows that if Jesse Ventura suddenly disappears, they'll know that I wouldn't do that, other than to go surfing in Mexico, and you know that I'll come back every spring.
Well, I tell you, that brings me to the next question. I mean, as things heat up, as you become even more prominent, if that's possible, but you certainly are, and as people's respect for you goes even higher, we need to take good care of you. So watch out, there aren't some frogmen out there when you're surfing that try to make you disappear. Be careful. I hope you're strapping a sidearm or at least a spear gun when you're out there.
Nah, I've always been a pretty good swimmer, Alex, and I can take care of myself in the water. And I truly don't believe any of my SEAL teammates would do that to me.
No, I don't think they wouldn't either. You know what?
I don't believe that would happen. And so maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think so. And no, it's just a case again where we've got to keep talking. When that, like that lady that sent you that thing, I have sympathy for her son who's over there fighting, because it's our fault. People need to understand this also. We can end all these wars by bringing the draft back. And I used to be on the abolish the draft movement after Vietnam. But now I realize that the professional military is a mistake. Because the problem is this: when you get a professional military like we have, we, the public, are then not vigilant. We need to be vigilant to never send those young men and women into harm's way unless it is absolutely essential.
Well, now we've got a mercenary army. I think we should ban that first. And then,
I agree totally. You got to get rid of these mercenaries. You got to get rid of Blackwater. You got to get rid of all of them groups because there's actually more mercenaries in Iraq today than there are soldiers.
Well, I've talked to Anthony Schaefer, Special Forces Colonel Commander, and he talked about how the CIA wouldn't let him kill bin Laden 2 weeks before 9/11. And he said that was being done because they already had contractors in the CIA with more power than the Army and the Navy, and that they basically are above the law and can do whatever they want.
Well,
so,
in Prouty's book, you'll find out the CIA runs our military. Our military is used to back up whatever the CIA is getting involved with.
Well, that's what Colonel Schaefer says, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Prouty says it too.
Well, he might be good to interview, Anthony Schaefer. He's on Fox and MSNBC and CNN, all of them. Let me read this to you just so it's on record. In fact, here's the bill right here racing through the Senate right now. The sinners to be detained as enemy belligerents. The full bill can be read here. A person is considered a high-value detainee if they fulfill one of the following criteria. And it says the Number 3, potential intelligence value. Number 5, such other matters as the president considers appropriate. And it says the enemy belligerent interrogation, detention, and Prosecution Act of 2010. And it says they can secretly grab you, put a bag over your head, and then they can use enhanced interrogation, which is torture. I mean, what's your take on...
Alex, torture you to do what?
I guess to say you're guilty.
Well, I don't know. Okay, let's say hypothetically they grabbed me. What would they torture me to find out?
That's the whole point. They only torture for terror and to get false confessions.
Okay, so I'd have to confess to something then, right?
Yes.
Okay. That's what I was interested in. Why on earth would they pick someone and then torture them? For what purpose?
Well, now, if we ever have another big war and people torture our troops, how can we say it's wrong?
We can't. We haven't been able to do that since Abu Ghraib and Gitmo. We can't, let me throw this out for your listeners to understand this too, Alex. We, the United States, and let me reiterate, my father's a World War II vet, my mother's a World War II vet, my brother and I are both Vietnam vets. I say that because of what I'm going to tell you now. We in the United States have been practicing terrorism for 50 years. We just call it foreign policy.
Yes.
Because we've been terrorizing Cuba. We've attempted to kill Castro on multiple occasions. We've ruined their cane fields. We've attempted to destroy their economy. And now, do you know about this character, Orlando Bosch?
Tell folks about it.
Well, Orlando Bosch was a guy who blew up a civilian Cuban airliner.
For the CIA and got protected.
No, there were 73 people on board. Now, is that not an act of terrorism?
It is.
Well, Bush Sr. pardoned him.
Yes.
This guy that blew up a plane with 73 people on it.
In fact,
we need to realize that we need to take our heads out of the sand, the citizens of the United States of America, and start realizing, think of it this way. Why do we have to spend so much money on our defense budget? Who's after us, and for what reason? What are we protecting ourselves from? Obviously, we haven't behaved very well throughout the world. Because clearly, if we're in such danger that literally half of our money and our taxes have to go to defense spending, what does that tell you?
Well, I wanted to add that individual you mentioned we cover in Terror Storm, it's declassified that he blew up a plane full of the Olympic team for the Cubans.
Yeah.
So again... And then there really isn't many people attacking us, so the military-industrial complex goes out and finances terror groups or stages attacks as the pretext to ratchet up the naked body scanners and the face scanners and the control.
Yeah, you may well be right on that. Because, again, we've been practicing terrorism for 50 years. We just call it foreign policy. I mean, look at all the people we've tried to assassinate down in Central America. That's not terrorism. When you go in and attempt, just because a country has a different form of government than you have, what gives us the right to go into that country and attempt to assassinate their leader?
Well, if they tried it here, they'd be called terrorists. I'm skipping this network break. We got about 9 minutes left with Jesse Ventura. This is a network break. We're skipping it, not station break. Just word to everybody out there who's just joined us, Infowars.com, PrisonPlanet.tv. I want to encourage all the listeners to not procrastinate and get Jesse Ventura's American Conspiracies at Infowars.com. You can get the book, $5 off the book in hardcover, and then get the film of your choice with the book when you get it. That's how much I want you to read it, Infowars.com.